morning. I am Mary Grace, and today we will be discovering some exciting facts about Visayas. Visayas is located at the center of the Philippine archipelago between the large island of Luzon and Mindanao. It is composed of the Philippine three main island groups: the Western Visayas, also known as the Region 6, the Central Visayas, the Region 7, and the Eastern Visayas is the Region 8. For this morning, I will be sharing some important details of the Central Visayas. Central Visayas, also known as Region 7, is located in the central part of the Visayas island group in the Philippines. The region comprises four provinces, namely the Bohol, Cebu, Negros Oriental, and Siquijor, along with the highly urbanized cities of Cebu City, Lapu-Lapu City, and Mandaue City. Let's visit these different provinces in Region 7. Cebu, its capital and largest city, nicknamed the Queen City of the South. Cebu is the oldest city and the first capital of the Philippines. Every January, Cebu celebrated the lively and fun-filled Sanulu Festival. The festival includes street dancing, novena masses, and the Mardi Gras. People in Cebu then were called pintados because men were heavily tattooed. Lavish ornaments such as gold jewelry were used not only by women but also men. The Mactan, Cebu International Airport. It is located on Mactan Island. It is the second busiest airport in the Philippines. It serves as the main getaway to domestic and international routes to or from Cebu City and other islands in the Visayas region. Bohol, the home of the famous Chocolate Hills. Bohol is one of the most visited destinations in the Central Visayas region of the Philippines. The main language spoken in Bohol is Boholano, a dialect of Cebuano, in addition to Tagalog and English. The majority of the population is Roman Catholic. Its capital is the Tagbilaran city, and also Bohol is the home province of Carlos P. Garcia. He is the eighth President of the Republic of the Philippines, 1957 to 1961. Was born in Talipon. Siquijor, also known as Isla de Fuegos, literally Island of Fire. The name was so because of the mysterious glow that came at dusk on the island from the swarms of fireflies that flitted around the lush vegetation. Siquijor is the smallest of the four provinces in the Central Visayas. Its towns are on the narrow floodplains and deltas around the coast. Most of the interior portion of the island is either hilly or mountainous. Rising to a central peak is Mount Bandilaan at 557 meters above sea level. Siquijor Province is comprised of six municipalities, namely the Siquijor, the island's capital town, the San Juan, Lazi, Maria, Enrique Villanueva, and Villarena.
Good day, sir. I am Jenny Rose D. Del Reyes, and I am going to report the Eastern Visayas. Eastern Visayas is one of the three regions in the Visayas group of islands and it is designated as Region 8 in the entire Philippines. It composed of the six provinces, which is the Leyte, Southern Leyte, Samar, Eastern Samar, Northern Samar, and the Birilan. The province of Leyte was founded in 1935, then having the jurisdiction also over Samar Island. The Malitbog Geothermal Power Station is one of the largest geothermal plants in the world. The Limasawa in southern Leyte were the first recorded blood compact between Rahaculambo and Magellan was held and is considered to be the birthplace of Roman Catholicism in the Philippines. The province was created in May 22, 1959 through Republic Act No. 2227, also known as the Act creating the province of Southern Leyte. The province of Samar was created on June 19, 1965 through Republic Act No. 4221, dividing Samar Island into 3 provinces, which is the Samar, Eastern Samar, Northern Samar. The name Samar comes from Visayan word samat, meaning wound or cut, describing the hilly and rugged physical features of the land deeply dissected by the stream. The Eastern Samar was created on June 19, 1965 through Republic Act No. 4221 as the province faces the Pacific Oceans. The Pacific Ocean and the Eastern Samar often devastated by the typhoons. The Northern Samar is similar to Eastern Samar because Northern Samar was created in a plebiscite on June 19, 1965. The topography of Northern Samar is mainly composed of low and extremely rich and fertile, allowing the growth of crops. The San Juanico Bridge connects Samar and Leyte, and it considered as the largest bridge in the Philippines. It was under President Marcos' administration and thus was initially named Marcos Bridge. The Leyte Landing Monument is located in Palo Leyte. It was built to commemorate and give tribute to General Douglas MacArthur for fulfilling his promise of returning to the Philippines after the Japanese occupied the country.
Magandang araw po sa lahat. Ako po si Munayra Ali. Ang aking susunod na talakayin ay ang Western Visayas. The Western Visayas is dominated by the 4 native speaker language, which is the Canaraya, Aklanon, Capizanon, and Hiligaynon. And it consists of 16 provinces, which is the Aklan, Antique, Capiz, Guimaras, Iloilo, and Negros Occidental. The capital of Aklan is the Kalibo. It is known for its sandy beaches, the famous Boracay, home of abaca or piña fibers. And the next is Antique. So the capital of Antique is the San Jose Buenavista. It is the oldest province in the Philippines. They have major language, which is the Canaraya and Aklanon. And the next one is the Capiz. So the capital of Capiz is Rojas. And it is the seafood capital of the Philippines. And the next is Guimaras. So the capital of Guimaras is Jordan. It is the mango capital of the Philippines, formerly known as Hanti. The Canaraya is the major dialect. And the next one is the Iloilo. So the capital of the Iloilo is Iloilo City. It is known because of its colonial Spanish churches and the old houses. And the last is the Negros Occidental. So the capital of Negros Occidental is Bacolod, and it is known for sugar bowl of the Philippines or Lando. Western Visayas has very rich literature, which is the Panayanon and Hiligaynon. So the major dialect is the Hiligaynon, Aklanon, and Canaraya. Hiligaynon is referred from Ilonggo people or Bisaya nga Canaraya, and it is the largest native population in the Philippines because it has one of the most largest native speakers, and ginagamit din yung Hiligaynon sa South Cotabato and the other 11 million people.
So hello sir, my report is all about major languages. There are 3 major languages, the Hiligaynon, Akaynon or Akanon, Kiniraya or Hiraya. The first one is Hiligaynon, lingua franca of the Ilonggos in Western Visayas. The second one is Akanon or Aklanon, language spoken in Aklan. The third one is Kiniraya, mother language of the Western Visayas. Early forms of oral literature in Western Visayas. There are 5 oral literature in Western Visayas. The Ambahan, the Balak, the Pagtahon, the Hurubaton, and the Haya. So the first one is Ambahan, the unrhymed 7 syllables. The second is Balak. This is, it means a love song can also be a song of praise sung by a man and a woman. The third one is Pagtahon. Ito ay isang riddle. The fourth one is Hurubaton. Ito ay isang proverb. The fifth one is, this is Trike.
Good day everyone, I am Zekiem Cristobal and I am one of the reporter of Group 3. My topic is all about Binalaybay. So Binalaybay, it is a form of poetry in Hiligaynon languages, spoken primarily in Western Visayas of the Philippines. The term Binalaybay means to recite poetry. The Binalaybay, it can be used to express a range of emotion, tell stories, and convey lesson or values. When writing or discussing Binalaybay, these are the several topics or themes you can explore. Number 1 is the love and relationship. Number 2 is the nature and environment. The number 3 is cultural identity. And the number 4 is the social issues. And number 5 is the spirituality and faith. And the number 6 is the life and death. And number 7 is the satire and humor. So that's all my report. It's all about Binalaybay.
Magandang araw sa lahat. Ako nga pala si Rids Malin Araw. So, ang tatalakayin ko ngayon ay tungkol sa epiko ng Hinilawod. So, ang Hinilawod ay isa sa pinakamahalagang kilalang epiko sa mundo. Nagmula ito sa sinaunang tao ng sulod sa gitna ng panay. Ang ng epikong ito ay natatangi sa rehiyon ng Visayas. At naitala ni Landa Hocano, siya ay isang antropologong nagmula sa Iloilo. Naitala niya ito noong 1950s. At ang epikong Hinilawod ay may 53,000 na linya at kinakailangan ito ng 30 oras para basahin. At ang bahagi ng Hinilawod ay na-adapt para sa mga pista o mga stage performance.
Good day, sir. Before I start, I am Sargine P. Merfuentes. To this video, I will going to discuss the Spanish colonial period and Spanish rule in the 19th century. During the Spanish colonial period, when natives were indigenizing the Passion and Corrido metrical romances, Spanish and natives aspiring writers were also looking to the available literary models at that time. The religious and didactic genres like saints' lives, prayers, and books of conduct. The first literary works in the Visayas were a miscellany of these forms. Number 1 is the immensely popular Lagda sa Pagkamaligdon sa Taong Bisaya in 1734. And another Cebuano work by Cavada de Castros, ang suga nga magadanag sa nagapuyo sa kangitngitan sa sala, 1879. Combined into one book several dialogues, maxims, tales, meditation, and ejemplos pananglitary. So let's move to Spanish rule in the 19th century. A new set of economic and social conditions prepared the ground not just for the revolution at the end of the century, but also the rise of vernacular writing in the Visayas. as elsewhere in the archipelago. Relative prosperity in Iloilo, Negros, and Cebu were large haciendas grew export crops like sugar helped create a middle class who could send their children to Manila or abroad to study. Educational reforms were introduced in 1865 with secondary schools being built in the Cebu and Haro. Filipino-led movements, the secularization of the Filipino clergy, the propaganda in 1896, slowly changed the atmosphere from monastic liberal that although the early 20th century saw the Philippines only changing colonial masters rather than gaining long-term independence. The liberal atmosphere that Filipino-led movement helped create led to a burst of provincial journalism and native language writing. It is also that the Spanish language was already losing favor, and lastly, and the English language had not yet taken root at this time of the early American colonial period. So that's all, sir. Thank you.
So good morning everyone. Now let's move on to serialized novel. So in the early 20th century, vernacular literature in the Philippines thrived thanks to local newspaper, which is the serialized novel that resonated with ordinary people. So the next one is the El Porvenec de Visayas in the year of 1884 and El Bulletin de Cebu in the year of 1886. So this too is the dominance of pro-Spanish periodical eclipse that supported Spanish language and colonial perspective were dominant. So dito nagsimula magbago at ipakilala ang mga native language tulad ng El Porvenec de Visayas at El Bulletin de Cebu. So ito yung mga publikasyong nagmarka ng pagsimula ng pagbabago at pagtanggap at pag-promote ng mga lokal na wika or mga lokal na kultura. So the next is ang Suga 1901, ang Kamatuoran 1902, ang Kagabot 1900, Kadapit sang Banwa 1905, and Bang og Pusog 1915 to 1941, Nasud 1930 to 1941, Babayi 1930 to 1940, and the Weeklies Bisaya and Hiligaynon. So all of these, these are the creation of new native language 3 periodicals. So the next is the fiction of Magdalena J. Halandoni. So si Halandoni or Magdalena is noong una ay kilala siya sa kanyang versified corridos na kung saan ito ay traditional na anyo ng awit o tula na may kwento. So the next is the romance novel is a contradiction. Romance idealizes life, while novel focuses on realism. So dito is may pagkakaiba siya. Yung novel is nag-uugnay siya sa realismo or sa mga masusing pagsusuri sa karakter at lipunan. Like for example, the works of Jose Rizal, which is the No Le Metangere and El Filibusterismo. So this too is a lengthy work, realist prose, right? So the No Le Metangere and El Filibusterismo were focuses on psychological depth of character, and also socio-political, and also were focuses on socio-political context of their life. So that's one of the example of the novels. So while naman sa romance is nagtataguyod siya ng idealisasyon, at ito yung mga hindi critical na tumatalakay sa usapang lipunan. So yun yung pagkakaiba ng romance at ng novels.
So good day. By the way, I'm Kalmachi Ubahin. So the topic that I will tackle for this day was about the first Visayan novel. So the first Visayan novel is Benjamin. Benjamin in 1907. It is the first ever novel in Hiligaynon. It was also the first ever work of one of the great Ilonggos in vernacular literary musical word, which is Angel Magahum. It is a hybrid that combined the Spanish era expellum, which meant noble of manner, and the modern chronicles, which means the short historical account. And the second one is the Angpulahan. Angpulahan in 1990. It is the work of Nicholas Raffles na naglalahad ng semi-fictionalized na salaysay ng mga aktwal na pangyayari sa Cebu. So, ito ay isang nobela, ngunit hindi ito matatawag na realistang nobela sapagkat tulad ng ibang nobela, hindi nito maiiwasang ang mga romantikong salpok na pinasikat ng korido.